Okay, look around in your YouTube environment. It says, and actually I can see you on YouTube on my machine here, but on my Windows machine.
On mine, it's coming up with a thing that says privacy error.
All right. I'm looking on my, I'm working off my Mac and I'm working on my Windows machine over here. And I'm looking for something that says, okay.
I'm gonna guess it's on my end because I just punched in youtube.com. It won't even let me go there. So it maybe my firewall's blocking it.
I don't know. On this machine, I have me live. I say live, there's about a 4-second delay.
Yeah. And try from my phone to get to the YouTube. All right, so
Lauren, I have just sent you a second link.
okay.
The first link was an attempt to send you to the site that I've created for the DDA that would be a permanent link. And I was hoping that would work. I've now sent you a link to this current live video. And so click on that and see if that works. Attempt to send you to the site that I've created for the DDA that would be a permanent link. And I was hoping that would work. I've now sent you a link to this current live video. And so click on that and see if that works.
Yeah, it works.
Okay. So the problem here to solve is, can I, and I think somewhere I can, create a static link to this DDA channel so that we could publish that a week ahead if we needed to. And not have to have the meeting up published to Earl. Now, my other problem is we're getting sound bouncing, and I'm trying to figure out where.
Well, that's from my cell phone. I had the YouTube channel pulled up, so we're living 7 seconds in the past or something.
I feel that way some days. Okay, so all right, so I'm going to bail out. Okay,
it says it's live on YouTube up in the corner.
Yeah. Yep. let me make sure I close out of what I want to close out and not close out of everything else. If this all goes crazy, then, you know, you can always come back in and I will let you in on the, and you can stay in if you want to on the Zoom and see how the, you know, get some experience on how it works. I'm going to, on this machine here, I'm going to get rid of YouTube and I'm going to have it running on this machine over here.
Okay.
And then you can always call me by phone, which isn't running anything.
All right.
Oh, Warren, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
If we would get an email with a Zoom bombing threat, would we all have to evacuate the virtual meeting?
Better safe than sorry, right?
I guess. Okay, so somebody. All right. So I'm waiting. Who is Tulu? Okay. Hey, Dustin, if you, I think if you right click or click on your name, you can rename yourself and have your first and last name, which will make things a lot easier.
better?
Not much. No. Let's see. Did the dog bark to the computer doorbell sound?
No, somebody was walking by, so my parabeagle is very alert.
Just a half a second before he barked, David Hart was joining the meeting, and I thought if he heard the doorbell.
Big dog, and there he goes.
Okay. Hi, David.
I think he's still on mute.
Look for the little microphone and turn your voice on. Hi, Mary Beth.
Okay.
There you go, David. Okay, make sure you remember where that is so you can turn that on and off as we need to. Okay, I got a Pam here. Is that Joey? Hi, Bill.
Hey.
Lena.
Okay. Hello.
How you doing, Bill?
Good. Just had to figure out how to unmute my microphone.
That's why we're kind of doing this meeting tonight, is to get used to this and figure out our operations and our protocol and our etiquette and everything else. Let's see, we've got a good shot of Dustin's screens. And
I see David Hart. He's looks like he's about to step on his.
yeah,
Hello. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. Thank you. Crazy times here. I see Dustin Rogers, Warren Tillery. Hello, hello.
Hey,
we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We definitely got quorum. I'm assuming Pam is actually Joey.
That's correct.
So Pam, yeah.
Let me see your video.
My video, for some reason, Pam said does not work with Zoom.
Weird. Okay. All right, well, we'll draw a little cartoon or something and see if we can stick it in that place. Okay. I would say we've got a quorum. It's 6:31. Let's go ahead and start the meeting. Now I am going to, for the moment, he said, hang on. Why am I not seeing that? Here's Ann.
Okay, you all enjoy the view.
We're enjoying you.
Not anymore. I'm gonna pull a Joey.
You're a classy guy. That's a good thing to do. Looks like you've got an extra one there.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, I'm technologically amazed.
Hey, I'm here. Just give me a second. I want to eat this food real quick, so I don't want you watching me eat.
Keith, I think you got your microphone muted.
There we go. Okay. Why did it mute my microphone? Anyway, okay. So now that sufficient enough to the day of the gang here, meeting is called to order. I have posted the agenda for tonight in front of you. Take a moment and fire up your DDA email because we may be sending information that way. As a matter of fact, I will in just a moment. You should have
So that is my phone, I'm going to have to come and get it.
Hey guys, just judging from experience in the last 2 weeks doing this, it'd probably be best if you're not talking to mute your thing because a lot of sounds are coming through.
excellent. Yeah, we were going to do etiquette on that in a second, but yeah, if you want to go ahead and mute your microphone, make sure you know where your mute button is and able to turn it on and off. But for the moment, mute. I would suggest as a point of etiquette going forward that you always have your video on. We can see you. Yeah, I tell my students, you know, if I don't see you, you're not here. And I think for the course of a meeting, since it's a public meeting, we don't see each other. I think it's best that everyone's visible, including guests to the meeting. Okay, give me a moment. I'm trying to drive two things at once. if you have not done so already, make sure from your email account you have accessed the latest draft of the minutes for the last 2 minutes, last 2 meetings, and you can be reading those while I bring up another document to send you.
Okay, my video's on. You guys probably wonder why I'm laying in bed. I just had total knee replacement 6 days ago.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have students who are in bed when they're taking the class. So,
Okay.
you know, and believe me, it's worse. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you. I was just a little subconscious about that.
Okay, don't worry about it. Okay, so the agenda should be visible to you on the screen. The main modification I would make is we have an item under new business that's COVID-19 and online meetings. Let's move that up right under the chairman's comments, and we'll do a little quick training and discussion there before we do the remainder of the meeting. So with that amendment, is the agenda approved? You got to turn your mic on to be the person to motion and second.
I
And
motion.
Keith, if I would,
Yeah.
you may want to do the way we've done it in some other cities was just by doing a roll call. So, you know, you can ask for the second and let anybody go that way, but just for purposes of Linda taking it down, you may want to just go through each member.
Okay, just ask for the roll call vote for the agenda and the minutes.
Right. I mean, you'll need a motion in a second.
Right. Okay. Mary Beth, I think I heard you.
Yes, I make a motion to accept the approval of the agenda.
Okay.
second.
Okay, Ann, you got a second. Let's try this because Christy is the one taking the minutes. All in favor indicate by raising your hand and holding it. And then I guess, Joey, turn your mic on and say yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a unanimous. All right. Warren, you think that'll pass muster?
Yep, that'll work.
Okay. Now, approval of minutes. Does anyone have any edits to the minutes that you need to make? Let's first start with the February 28th minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes for February 28th? Excuse me, February 18th.
I motion. Dustin Rogers.
Okay, Dustin moves. Any second?
I second, David.
David Hart second. All in favor, hold your hand up in front of the camera. Okay, a little higher, Dustin. Okay, I think that is, let's see, Joey, if you'll unmic.
Yes.
Okay, again, appears to be unanimous. All right, for the special call meeting, February 25th, 2020.
Yeah, Ann corrected my spelling of the word lean. So I changed that and one other grammar error. Other than that, it's the same as the one I originally sent out. So
Good, good. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
That was Ann. Do I hear a second?
Seconds.
That's David. All in favor indicate by a raised hand in front of the camera. And of course, Joey, chime in.
Yes.
Okay. Minutes have been approved. Okay, Chairman's comments. This meeting is largely for us and to check, you know, there are 2 or 3 technology things I am checking as we go to see how we'll handle this. Zoom has lots of settings I've discovered in the last 2 or 3 weeks, and sometimes they bat with each other. And so I'm still learning which ones control what. I have tried to configure this tonight to cover some of the security concerns like Zoom bombing and sending of viruses through Zoom messages, etc. It means we are restricting some of the capabilities of Zoom, but I think this will be fun. Now, in a few minutes, we're going to do a quick and dirty walkthrough on Zoom so that you had a chance to see, what controls are most important to manage the meeting. And we will probably work out some etiquette and how we conduct the meeting, as we go. At any point in time, if you have a question, you can kind of raise your hand and I will try to notice it, and we'll talk about some other matters in a moment. So that is the chairman's comments for the moment. Let's go on to COVID-19 and online meetings. Obviously, you know the history in the background. I have just emailed to you a resolution that Warren, who is, by the way, here free tonight, he's kind of experimenting with this too. So, don't worry about running up his bill. He's here trying to see how we do things and what works well and what doesn't. He sent us a resolution that I assume the firm has used in other municipalities and organizations that basically says we are doing some meetings online. You should have a copy of that from your email. And if the gods of computing are with me, I am going to put that on the screen. Are you seeing the resolution?
Yes. Yes.
So either through print or okay. FYI, I've just received an emergency alert. You may have on your phone as well, non-essential businesses to close. I'm not sure if that's statewide or if that's Rabun, if anybody knows, chime in.
For what it's worth, I did
on the
get
phone.
the same alert, so I'm guessing it's Raven.
Okay. So then I'm going to,
You received an order for what?
the phone, let's see. Emergency alerts, public safety alert, non-essential businesses to close. Please stay home, stop the spread of COVID. SCEMD, that sounds like South Carolina. SCEMD, emergency management. But I may be picking up something from South Carolina. Not sure. Okay, so in essence, what this resolution says, if you've had a moment to look it over, is that based on the various whereases, we're going to be meeting online, and that we simply want to adopt this resolution, as sort of a premise for what we're doing. Warren, anything profound to say on that?
No, there's really not, and it is candidly papering this thing to death. because you've already got the declarations from the president and the governor, and in a lot of jurisdictions, you'll have it from the mayor and council, and that will cover your authorities and boards. We haven't had a council meeting yet where something like this has been adopted. I don't know that it actually needs to be adopted in light of all of the other declarations that have taken place, but just for purposes of having something in the DDA's minutes that memorializes it, this is basically what we've done in other places.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to adopt this resolution?
Yes, I move that the chairman be authorized to execute the resolution on behalf of the DDA.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor indicate by raised hand. And of course, Joey.
Yes.
All right, we're getting good at that. Okay, resolution has passed. We are going to spend just a few minutes talking about Zoom. It depends on how you come in. Zoom will work differently if you're on a PC or a Mac laptop. If you're on a pad, it'll look a bit different. It's going to be a little bit different on a phone. So you're going to have to learn to best drive your own device. The things that you need to be most ready to do and learn where they are, obviously, is the mic button to cut it on and off. That, depending on how noisy the environments are, typically for my classes, everybody cuts their mic off and then turns it on when they want to speak. Now, if we get into a discussion and we don't get a lot of feedback or echo, I think with a group this size, the directors can probably turn their mics off and it be okay. Now, for a moment, if you're a DDA director, turn your mic off. Let's see. I say turn your mic off. I'm sorry. Unmute yourself. Turn your mic on. Bad driving on my part. Okay. So, right, Dustin? Okay. So it looks like everybody's on. The world's not ending if you don't have too much going on in the background. Also notice in the upper right of most of your screens, there's something that will say either speaker view or there'll be like a tic-tac-toe thing, and it may be called gallery view. Are you seeing that?
No. No.
Okay, no is Ann, and if you're on a phone, it's there someplace, but I can't offhand tell you where it is. Tap your phone screen and see if some controls pop up.
It doesn't work on iPhone.
No.
Well, it's there, but I'll have to work with you guys. It's there because I have done it on mine, but you have to go find it. We'll pick back up with you guys later. What this does, if you're in speaker view, then, and so all of you, probably if you can get a speaker view, and you should see my face and maybe a few other people up at the top of the screen. Are y'all, some of y'all seeing that?
Yes.
Okay. Now, also in speaker view, when Christy said yes, picture went to her, right?
Correct.
And just went to you. Okay. So speaker view is where it will listen to the loudest one of us, no comments, the loudest one of us, and it will focus the photo on that. So sometimes that's going to work really nicely when we're discussing. Other times it may not. As the moderator, I have the ability to override that and say, focus on this person's image, even if other voices are in the mix. The voices will still be there, but it won't jump back and forth. Now, the other thing you can look at is called gallery view, and that's wherever you found that switch, click it. And I call this the Brady Bunch view. If you are able to switch it, you understand, you see all of us together. So sometimes we'll be in that, sometimes you can choose to be in that mode. You can choose to be in speaker view. My understanding is that's totally under your control. I can't control that. So microphone, get used to where the mic is on and off. The speaker view, you flip it back and forth. Also know where your video is. We'll talk about this, but as I said before, I think it is best, since this is a public meeting, that everybody's video is on, except for those of you who are having technical problems, Joey. So that way we can see everyone, and I think that's probably something we should require of any visitors, anyone who's coming in to sit in the meeting. Just like if we were in town hall, if someone came in, they would sit in the room and we would know, who it is and who's there. So I think that's something that we should be prepared for in the future. Names. It helps tremendously if you have your first name and your last name. Now, if you go to yourself, I think this will work. If you go to yourself, your name, right click it, or excuse me, just click it. Click on your name, and there's probably an option that says rename. So if you will rename, and if you don't have your first and last name, rename there. Are those of you with phones having difficulty finding that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try something, Ann. I've got a little button here that I clicked on you and said rename. And actually I can name it. I can take control of that. Okay, so I'm renaming. Okay, everybody see Ann Irvin? And so
I don't.
well, we sort of do that. It may take a second to refresh and get to yours. I'm not sure. I'm going to rename Pam to Joey. All right. And so David, I think we're okay. Linda. All right. So that just helps everyone see who's saying what, etc. All right. One of the things that I think you're going to have to do offline is tell the controls to stay on the screen. When you are offline, go to the controls for Zoom. It'll depend on your device, but someplace there's a checkbox that says keep controls online. By default, the controls, which are those mute, stop video, all that stuff at the bottom, disappear. If you don't play with it for a second, and then if you touch your screen or wiggle your mouse, they will jump back present. For most of us, it's going to be a lot easier just to keep those controls up there. That's a homework assignment. I don't think we can do that very easily right at this point in time. Okay, so other things, as you've noticed, I'm able to share screens. I'm able to put some things out there for you to see when we need to. Give me a second here. I have it rigged where I'm the only one that can share. We could share, but it also means that someone coming in could share a virus or something else in a document. So for security purposes, we're not going to share documents over Zoom, though it's capable of doing it. That's why I want you to keep your email handy. So if we need to send each other text or files or something, we can do it that way during the meeting. Does that make sense? Okay. And people coming and going, which I have to manage, but that also is a way of preventing. How many of you have heard of Zoom bombing in the last couple of days? Okay, Zoom bombing, which is someone in a public meeting like this who sees online or sees information about where this meeting is, If you don't have a waiting room that restricts people, somebody can jump in with porn. It's done. It's called Zoom bombing. And so at least I have to let somebody in the room. Now, I've let a couple people in the room already who I don't know who they are. And so we're probably going to have to get a handle on that, but they mostly have come in and have left. I'll have to check and see what that's about. Okay.
I got one question.
Yeah, Warren.
How do I get my background to look as sweet as Mr. Turk's?
I may discontinue that feature for this group, but that is, let's see if I can. I have done it. That's one I'd have to go look for.
It's sort of inconsequential. I just figured it would be a good way for me to mess with my other partners when we're meeting on Zoom.
Right quick, Bill, tell him where it's at. I'm looking at my settings. I've done it. I just don't remember exactly where it is. Bill, do you?
I have to unmute. So yeah, go to the upper right corner, hit the more button.
Microphone's on.
The more button, and then it just says virtual background. Hit virtual background and then hit whatever you want on the virtual background.
Okay. And I don't have a more button, but, okay. Anyway, there'll be things for y'all to explore and to play with there. Another thing to look at the controls on the bottom. There is a box that says, or a bubble that says chat. We can send right now, any chat you put in there is public for all to see. Now we can possibly enable private chats, but you know, Joe and David can just use text messaging like they always do in a meeting. That can continue. If you need to ask a question or raise a comment, you can do that in chat, and you know, all will see. Now, right now, actually, private chat is still on there. Everyone publicly save chat, because I'm about to send a private chat to one of you. Who got the private chat? Raise your hand. Okay, Mary Beth got the private chat. I thought that was turned off. I'll have to play with the settings some more. If I see everybody passing notes in class, there are going to be issues. Now, there are a lot of other things that we can do with this, but for the period of time that we've got the COVID restrictions, I figured this is going to be our way of meeting. Give me a moment to look in my notes and see if there's anything else that I know that I've missed. I think let me ask you to do one thing. Look in the upper left of your screen for those of you that are not on a phone, and you should see something that says live. And do you see something that says on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so if you click that down arrow, what options do you see at your end?
I see view stream on YouTube or copy streaming link.
Okay, so that may be some of the folks who have come in and have disappeared. If they've noticed that, you could, and you can do this if you select it. If you're on slow WinStream, it may not be a good idea, but if you click view stream on YouTube, it should jump you to YouTube, and you can see all that you're seeing here with about a 3 to 5 second delay. Now,
Well,
go ahead, Christy.
will that video be available later, or is it just for the duration of the meeting?
It's a live video. And so I don't know. I'm sorry, what?
Sorry to jump in there. There is a way to record them where you can post them later.
I'll look and see. I'll play with the settings. But were you thinking that from the secretary's perspective?
This meeting is easy for minutes, but if we get more detailed, it might be useful.
Okay, let me figure out the best way to handle that. We can also do recording. We can also record on Zoom as well, which frankly, I'd have to look to see right now if it is recording or not.
There's a button at the bottom that says record, but if I click it, it asks me to request permission from the meeting host. So it sounds like something you'd have to do.
I tell you what, click on that, see what happens.
I clicked on it and it just says, please request recording permission from the meeting host.
Okay,
That's
so
a way to do it myself.
message, but and it's not telling me you've asked for that either. So I'm not quite sure what.
Now it says recording in the top left corner. Whatever you clicked made it start saying recording up there.
I think it's recording on my machine and not on yours, but I'll record going forward. And you know, I will be putting together my laundry list of you know, it's like when you start flying a 747, the pilot and the co-pilot go through a checklist. This is kind of like that. So we will see how that works. Any other questions or concerns? And again, we'll work out our etiquette going forward. We'll have to figure out where to post it in terms of what we expect for visitors, but that's good. Okay. And I promise I'll get faster at this with experience. Okay, we've done the chairman's comments. We have done the new business, the COVID and online meetings. We moved that up for those of you that came in late. Treasurer's report, Joey.
The last bank statement that I have is for February. Basically, there were no checks, no deposits. Balance remains the same at $6,637.
Okay. Any questions regarding the treasurer's report? Okay. Old business. And I really should have done this earlier. It should be listed in the minutes that the DDA has yet to receive legal guidance on our membership and potential conflicts with the charter. So we are continuing to work until we receive guidance. So that should be in there. In a month or so, I will be appointing a nominating committee to come up with officers for next year. The current slate of officers, the slate expires, hopefully not the officers, but the slate expires at the end of June, and there will need to be nominees for president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. More than happy to see those who are already in place continue, but the nominating committee will be in touch and will negotiate those matters. Also, Dustin, we're not quite sure what your fate is. Your term on the DDA expires again at the end of June. We'd be happy to have you stay on board. That will be something the town council will make nominations for.
Trade with you, Dustin.
And best I can tell, and this goes back to membership and what's in the charter, normally Joey would also be rolling off, but assuming that the charter states that a town council person can be on the DDA as intended by state law, then it would seem that Joey would stay and no one particularly disappears there. But that will be something we will clean up as the charter clarifies and be thinking about officer nominations coming up. Any questions on that? Okay, update buildings and market study. The minutes of the special meeting contain a lot of information about what we found with, you know, with our discussions on getting grants and getting loans, low interest loans. At the moment, it's not looking likely that we're going to find a grant that will cover the entire cost of the building. That's we've sort of cycled through the ones that were possibilities. There are some grants that will pick up some amount of the cost, but probably wouldn't get the grant unless the town had a plan to pick up the rest. So there's not an impasse, but we will come down to like 4 choices, or the town will come down to 4 choices. Now, if you look closely at the regular meeting that was scheduled for March, there's an asterisk at the bottom about executive session. The DDA has been approached by an interested party who is interested in proposing an arrangement for the Tallulah Center. At that time, the plan was to go into executive session and, for purposes of real estate, and that individual, that interest, could explain what they were interested in, and we could see where we go from, go there. We had spoken a bit with Warren. I had taken that upon myself to consult him on a couple of legal matters dealing with that. And one other member of the DDA is aware of what has transpired here. I've made sure that I had one other person on the DDA that was in agreement with me, who knew the situation, but is also maintaining confidentiality until we have that executive session. Now, the interested party, once the market crashed on us, a couple of weeks back, has indicated that this party is still interested in looking at that arrangement with the DDA and then probably with the town, but needs a little bit of time to let the market settle down and understand what's going on. So I was told the intent is to come back and make that proposal, but it may be a few weeks down the line. I will keep you abreast of that. Are there questions?
Nope.
No.
Okay. I heard a bark. Who barked?
Not me.
Okay.
Sorry, I should be on mute.
That's all right. Okay. So hopefully we will have a proposal to deal with in the next month or so. And we will also be able to share with the town council what we found with respect to grant opportunities and loan opportunities. Any other questions about buildings or market study? Okay. Open floor for discussion. And this includes, let's see, Stan, Marcia, member or people who, Bill, people who are not members of the DDA. We'll be happy to open the floor to you as well. Linda, of course, you can always speak up. Okay. Any just quick comments about use of this tool, this technology?
Nope.
You think we're all right with it?
Yep.
We're awfully quiet.
We're all trying to get out of there. It's like discussion in class. Okay. Communications to the town council, the next item on the agenda.
Is town council doing this?
It will be, is my understanding.
something like this. Warren, you're in the loop. Linda, you're in the loop. You know, y'all.
We're exploring a couple options, but my understanding is that we'll be doing it some form or fashion like this.
Okay. Okay. Do we have anything at the moment that we need to take to the town council?
Not that I'm aware.
Or
Two things that I think, just firing a flare, Joey, we'll let you be the flare firer. One, we will have an opening on the DDA as Justin's term expires. Be delighted to keep the band together, but that's going to be a town council decision on who fills that slot. Also, budget. About this time last year, there was a budget process and we were putting together a budget for next year. I have not heard anything about the budget process. So if we're needing to pull something together, we need to hear about it from the town council and a deadline for that. Okay, agenda items for future meetings. Sort of our usual. I hope maybe there'll be a little more progress with respect to the buildings and membership, but there's nothing right this second that I would add to our usual agenda. Any questions, comments?
No.
Going back to the communication with city council,
Yes.
it seems like we still don't have a feel for how much the city is willing to monetarily put into the building, to put into this project. That's not something that came up at the last city council. How, strongly do we want to pursue that discussion? Do we need to do that at this time, or just hang on and see what's going to happen?
To be honest, my vision for the March 13th meeting or whatever was going to be a little grid that says, here are alternatives, and this is going to cost money up front. This is going to create income stream, etc. With that fifth or that additional alternative that was being proposed. I will be thinking about that and maybe have a document for our next meeting that can pull together information sort of from the minutes of our special meeting that talked about what would it cost to get to put the building out on contract, public notice, etc., that it had not been done before. So there's a handful of things that we could attach halfway decent numbers to. I just haven't had a chance to pull that together this month, given the disruption. But that might help the town council understand what their options are. And again, I was hoping we would have that additional option of someone that's expressed an interest for either purchasing or leasing the building in a particular arrangement to put out there at the same time.
Okay.
That's my thinking. Life gets in the way. I'm open to suggestions.
No, sounds good. Sounds reasonable.
Okay. Anything else? Do I hear a motion to log off?
I move to log off.
All in
David
favor, up raised hand. Joey, I don't need
Get
to
a
know.
second?
Okay. Oh, do I miss a second? Who wants to second? And
I'll second.
Mary Beth second. All in favor? Okay. Feel free to log off. The meeting is over. If you want to play with the gizmos for a moment, you're welcome to, and I'll try to walk you through it.
Y'all be well, okay?
Okay. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Warren. Warren's gone. Never mind. Who goes last? Marcia, how was it?
Oh, it was tough, but we're getting better. Thank you.
Okay. And we do okay?
Now that I've learned to turn on the microphone and turn on the video, I think we're in good shape.
Well, it's funny. I do this with half a dozen, or anywhere from a dozen to 20 students. And we sort of got a rhythm, but this is a different thing than a classroom. And
Yep. I think we'll be better next time. So,
well, that's why I did this tonight. Is like everybody just play with the technology, and then we'll get better when we really need to do something of substance. Anyway,
okay.
any
Sounds
questions?
good. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.